Living a healthy, balanced life as a mom can sometimes feel impossible. With tiny mouths to feed, butts to wipe, and so many things vying for our attention, it can be easy to feel like we're in an on-again, off-again relationship with healthy living. But it doesn't have to feel this way. I believe every mom is a super mom, and you deserve to feel like one too, and you don't have to go on another diet to do it. Join me, Kristin Dovbniak, holistic nutritionist and certified intuitive eating counselor, for conversations on what it means to live a healthy, balanced life. I want to help you uncomplicate eating, improve your relationship with food, and live like the supermama I know you are. Hey friends, welcome back to the Healthy Balanced Mama podcast, and welcome to day 10, the very last day of the Healthy Mama Habits Restart. For those of you who are just hopping in, for the last 10 days, we have been focusing on creating habits around the life we want to live in 2020. All of those episodes, days 1 through 9, are still up, so if you want to go ahead and listen to them, obviously the live videos are all gone at this point over on Instagram, but you can still join us here on the podcast and listen to the past 10 episodes, and then also join me live today at 2 p.m. Eastern in the private Facebook group or on Instagram, sharing deeper thoughts on today's topic. As today is the last day, registration for the restart is closed, so you can't get the worksheets or anything like that. You'll have to wait until next year, but you can still join us in the Supermama Society. And if you would like to join us in the Supermama Society, which is my online intuitive eating-based group coaching membership, then you'll get all of those worksheets and all of this information saved in there anyway. So for the last 2 days, we've been talking about gentle nutrition. For a deeper description of what gentle nutrition is and an overview of what intuitive eating is, I recommend going back and listening to day 8. We talked about variety on day 8. We talked about moderation yesterday. And today I want to talk about a hot topic, balance. Balance is such a hot topic in the health world. It's the goal, right? We all want to live a balanced life. But here's the problem with the traditional approach to balance. We think balance is a destination. But really, balance is a state of being. Balance is not static. It's ever-changing, and it's different for everyone. Once we learn and embody this, we can start to find what I call your beautiful balance. It's the space where eating well feels natural, where we're tuning in to our bodies instead of tuning out, where we're eating in moderation without force, where we can make decisions based on taste and quality without rules or restriction. And all of these things are unique to us and our season of life. When it comes to balance in nutrition, this includes things like balancing the food on your plate. But it's important to note that balance isn't something that needs to be obsessively achieved at every meal. Nutrition recommendations are meant to be an average over time. None of us are perfect, and we don't need to expect our nutrition to be either. That's where a lot of us can get caught in this trap of restriction and rebellion. That's where having an interest in healthy living turns unhealthy. But what balance is learning to tune into not just the kind of food you eat, but the taste, texture, and feeling food gives you. Sometimes we desire foods that are lighter and cooler and energizing, and sometimes we want something hearty and warm and comforting. This often goes with the seasons. It's about listening to these nuances in your body and then actually responding and letting your body lead the way. We can use the balance plate that I share as a guideline, but balance is achieved over time. So don't sweat it if you didn't create the perfect plate, if you got hungrier sooner than you expected, or you spent a whole day without eating a single vegetable. This is okay. It's not going to ruin your health. That is what balance is once you start tuning into your body, you will naturally start craving these things when you're not getting them. So whether it's vegetables or protein or anything that you might not have gotten one day, you'll start craving it the next day. And it's really amazing to start noticing those nuances in our body. And a note that structure can be helpful. So having that guideline of, this is what a balanced plate looks like can be really helpful, but nutrition shouldn't be a set of checks and balances. Learning what feels good in your body means eventually you will crave vegetables or whatever you're missing. It's about self-care rather than self-control. So I consider 3 things when we're looking at overall balance with intuitive eating: nourishment, intuition, and joy or pleasure. A few questions you can ask yourself to determine if you need help in one of these areas, and these are all in the worksheets that are associated with this episode and with the live, so you'll be able to make some note of which ones apply to you in your workbook. The first one is nourishment. Am I enjoying a variety of nutrient-dense foods? Remember, we talked about variety on day 8. How do I feel in my body? How is my energy, mood, and focus on a daily basis? How is my hunger and fullness? Is it steady, or am I feeling constantly hungry or constantly eating to over fullness? This can be indicative of not tuning in or not having balance in your meals. And this is the most important one. Can I look at nutrition advice objectively, trying new things without going to extremes? This is a sign that you might need to work on your relationship with food. Intuition. Am I regularly tuning in to my body, to my hunger, to my fullness, to my satisfaction, to how my body feels physically and how I'm feeling mentally around food in my body? Am I eating foods that taste good and feel good rather than by a book or an expert? Again, we can take that nutrition advice and utilize it, but if it's turning into something where every time we learn about some new nutrition fad, we're going to that extreme, that's not a healthy balance. Am I eating based on hunger and satisfaction, or am I eating based on the clock, what time it is, or portions? Our portions change day to day depending on our activity level and how hungry we are. This is really important. A lot of plans will give you an exact number of portions that you should have per meal or per day, or an exact number of macros, but this actually changes day to day, and it can set you up for a harder next day if you're not eating enough today, and it can kind of put us in that perpetual cycle of on again, off again habits with food. And the last thing is, do I feel confident to rely on my body to tell me when and what I need to eat? And lastly, joy. Am I finding pleasure in the food I eat, or am I eating foods to be a health martyr? Do I sometimes eat food just because the food tastes good? This is good and totally okay. Do I find joy in the experience of eating, shopping, and preparing good food? And do I think of food in a positive way? So like I said, I really recommend using the worksheet on finding your beautiful balance in the workbook. This is a great place to start when you're determining what habits to hone in on as you move through the year. But friend, I want to assure you, if you feel like balance is hard, as a mom especially, we have so many tiny humans vying for attention, other things going on, especially if we work inside or outside of the home, if we're taking care of our home. There's a lot going on as a mama. I thought that balance was really hard and almost impossible to find as a mom as well. And this is a problem a lot of my clients encountered too. They're like, well, I like this idea of intuitive eating, but I feel like it's just not possible as a mom. And this is why I created an intuitive eating resource just for you, just for moms. Actually, it's more than a resource. It's a community and coaching. The Supermama Society is my online group coaching membership program rooted in intuitive eating principles, designed to transform your mindset around food, help you to simplify nutrition, and tune into your body's wisdom when it comes to finding what works for you and your health. It's the step-by-step, month-by-month guide to creating your beautiful balance. Think of it like one-on-one coaching with me for a fraction of the cost in a group support setting. And for the next 3 days, as a Habits Restart participant, just by listening to this podcast, you can get your first 6 months for only $99. That is $99 total, not $99 per month, $99 total for your first 6 months. That's less than $17 a month for a monthly masterclass, live Q&A with me, weekly office hours, a brand new recipe plus more than 30 already in the community, access to my full recipe and printable library, monthly workbooks just like the worksheets that we had in this challenge. Plus, it's designed with moms in mind. This is the place to grow in your relationship with food and nutrition without diet culture as a mom. You can head to supermamasociety.com to learn more. Registration is only open until January 13th, and then we close until July to allow time for the members to connect with each other and myself and grow in their journey to becoming more positive, mindful eaters. Again, it's healthymamachris.com/supermama, and you can get to the Supermama Society or go to supermamasociety.com and access the Supermama Society, and that $99 deal will show up just for this weekend only, and then it's gone for good. Okay, friends, so don't forget to join me live at 2 p.m. Eastern today for our last live of the week. We'll be talking about balance and wrapping things up and answering any last questions you have about creating healthy habits for the new year. So have a beautiful day, and I will be back with regular episodes next week. Thank you, friends, so much for listening to this episode of the Healthy Balanced Mama podcast. I truly hope it encouraged and inspired you today to live a healthier life without restriction. If you enjoyed this podcast, would you do me a huge favor and give it a star rating and review in iTunes? Every rating, review, and subscribe helps this podcast be seen and heard by more women who need to hear it. You can find me, Kristin, on Instagram and Facebook at Healthy Mama Kris, or on my website, healthymamakris.com. As a reminder, the information and opinions on this podcast are intended for information and inspiration only and are not a substitute for professional medical advice or treatment. Please consult with your healthcare practitioner before making any changes. See you in the next episode.